New Testament manuscripts were written either on papyri, parchment, or paper surfaces. Paper manuscripts were the last to be developed, becoming popular in the late Middle Ages when they began to replace parchment. Paper was considerably cheaper than parchment, easier to write on, and easier to cut to the desired size. Recent finds at St. Catherine's Monastery at Mount Sinai have revealed New Testament paper manuscripts dating back to the 9th century. There are more than 1,300 known New Testament manuscripts on paper, making up almost a quarter of all known New Testament manuscripts. Paper, which was made from cotton, hemp, or flax, was developed in China during the 1st century AD. In the 8th century, Arabs improved on this method, creating thicker paper and designing machinery that increased production capabilities. Paper made its way to Europe through Arabian trading and was frequently being used instead of parchment by the 14th century. Its general use in Europe was quite timely with the invention of the printing press in the 15th century. Although parchment could be used on the printing press, it was never a cost-effective writing surface. It could take around 300 sheep or goats to make enough parchment for one Bible. The materials needed and method used for papermaking allowed for the perfect surface to meet the increasing demand for an efficient writing material. By the 16th century, the printing press had revolutionized Western Europe, and by the end of the 18th century, the handwriting of manuscripts was practically extinct due to the popularity and growing use of printed books, including the Bible. The biggest weakness of paper, especially for early paper manuscripts, is its durability. Papyrus is actually far more durable than paper. However, we have fewer papyrus manuscripts because they were the material of choice first, before parchment, and long before paper. Due to their age and the fact that they usually lacked sufficient protection in the covers, papyrus manuscripts deteriorated very quickly. All of the original New Testament manuscripts were no doubt written on papyrus. Two of the paper manuscripts that C.S. NTM photographed at one site were in such bad shape that if the codices had been dropped or closed hard, the paper would have fallen apart. In fact, one could easily put a finger through all the pages. Dan Wallace, who led the expedition, recommended to the librarian that these manuscripts never be opened again. At the end of their month of shooting manuscripts there, the librarian told the team, "You have preserved the Word of God." We are grateful that CSNTM could photograph this library's manuscripts just in time. On another occasion, CSNTM staff visited a Greek island, which will remain nameless. There are a few monasteries on this island that have New Testament manuscripts. While visiting one of these monasteries, the team had the opportunity to examine a few manuscripts. When they opened one of the paper codices, several small pieces of paper from the first few pages flew out. The manuscript was in such bad condition that it would be nearly impossible for CSNTM to photograph it. Unfortunately, the team arrived there too late to preserve this unique, handwritten document. Yet as fragile as paper is, occasionally the icons in paper manuscripts still have vibrant colors. Generally speaking, the later in time, the less strategic the manuscript is for determining the wording of the original text. Therefore, it is fortuitous that although nearly 25% of all Greek New Testament manuscripts are written on paper, they belong to the latest stage of writing material. Does this mean that the paper manuscripts are not important? Not at all. It just means that we need to place them within the transmission of the New Testament text appropriately. Every new manuscript discovery helps us to uncover one more piece in the puzzle of the textual transmission of the New Testament, and a few paper manuscripts have proved to be very valuable for recovering the wording of the autographs.